What is up, everybody? How's it going? Hopefully, you guys are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing everything and all about the physical games and physical media. I think I made a video about this before, but it's been on my mind and just kind of want to talk everything about it within the video game landscape and the video game industry and just in the industry overall. So, first, I want to say that I'm actually a big supporter of physical games more than digital games, and I feel like the embracing physical media, especially disc, is really important in this day and age. With many video game companies like Microsoft and PlayStation making digital only consoles, it's very dangerous to do so. And that is very dangerous because if we go to an only digital only console, we're only subject to the digital games and what they have. And so I'm really, really mad about this because if let's say you own Xbox Series S, right? And you get Game Pass. You're only subject to that list of games because you can't buy your own games. And I'll give you many reasons why I support physical games over digital games in a bit. But I want to just talk about Game Pass because right now you're only subject to those games. So let's say you really wanted to play a game on Game Pass, right? But they don't have it. That's another reason. Or you're playing a game and you're enjoying it, but then they announce that the next week it's going to be gone. You have no say so in the matter because you don't own those games. You're renting those games. In terms of like you wanting to play stuff if it goes out, yeah, it's kind of your fault because you're renting the service and you kind of have to understand that you're subject to their terms. They can control what they want from you. And so when you're on Xbox Series S or a digital edition console, it's like, what freedom do you have? And the reasons I want to explain why physical media is better are, I think I have like three or four. So first of all, is that you can't shop anywhere. Your only digital storefront is the digital store, so you can only buy digital games. That means that the prices on that store is the prices you have to pay. Yeah, they might have discounts, but it's still going to be crazy. So let's say like a game is like $45 on the digital store, but it's $33 on Amazon. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. You can't shop and find better deals elsewhere because you don't have the freedom to. You have to buy the digital games from that storefront and only from that storefront. So that's one reason. The second reason I want to give is the preservation of games. And that is very important because in the future, I fear that because the game companies are pushing towards a digital only feature, it means that they are going to be controlling the prices, controlling the look, and controlling the atmosphere and environment in which you purchase games. So let's say Scott Pilgrim, for example, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That game was very popular but is very limited. Fortunately, they brought the game back, and people can now buy it, and it has a physical release, so it's not really rare anymore. But let's say they never did that. Let's say that you can only buy that digital game. Sorry, you can only buy that game physically, right? But the thing is, on all digital storefronts, that game is gone. It doesn't exist. So if you wanted to and you have a digital-only console, you can never play that game ever again because you're only subject to that console's variety of games, and you can only play that. So it makes sense that you want to buy a disc, right? Because you want to preserve the games in the future. So let's say you buy, what's a very popular title right now? Across all boards. Overwatch, okay? Let's say, no, that's a live service game. Sorry, I'm trying to think really hard. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Let's take that game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's available on Xbox and PlayStation 4 and PC, right? But the thing is, what if we go to a digital-only feature where we can no longer play discs? If you own a disc and you have a disc-based console, you can actually play that game. And you can play it across anytime you want. And even if they take it off the storefront, it doesn't matter. You have the disc and you have the updates. You're good to go. they can never strip that away from you. You physically own the game. So in terms of preservation purposes, it's very, very important that we go to a disc. We have disc in the future because it actually ensures that we can actually play these games in the future and that we actually care about supporting the developers and actually have the true ownership of the games. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that if we go to a digital-only future where we can only buy games digitally, what freedoms do we have in terms of what we want to choose and how we can shop, and what we want to play? If we don't have those freedoms, it's going to be stripped from us. So, my third reason I do want to give in terms of like what's going on and why I support physical games. Let me see. I talked about preservation. I talked about is that you actually have the freedom to actually show it to others. Now, what I mean by that is that you actually have it in your hand, and I'm going to show one of these games. So let's say I have this game. Now, let's say it's stripped across all digital media and you can no longer play it. That means that I can actually still support this. Now, this is a PSP game, but as long as I own this UMD, I can still play this game no matter what on my PSP, as long as it's still functioning, okay? So that means that I can play this whenever I want, whenever I want, and wherever I want, because I physically own this game. I own this game. I have it in my hands, and no one can strip it away from me unless they rob me. But that's not cool. Anyways, another reason why it's important to have all these games is, like I've been doing on my pickup video, is to show them off to all others. So you can have like a whole shelf lined with games, and it'll just display all your games you have, all your games you physically own. And that's amazing because you're like, oh my gosh, look at all these games I have across all here, all here. And you can show it to others and be proud of your collection. If we go to a digital only, like digital only, and we get rid of disc altogether, it's like, what's the point of just buying these games to show off? Because you can't show them off. What, you gotta show up a little icon on your screen? No. The best thing about cases is that it gives you a description, especially if you have a manual. If I take the manual from this, I take the manual from this, boom, I have it all right here, and it displays everything about the game notes, advertisements for future games. I actually physically own this game, and I can say that I have all the information I can display to others. With a digital only, it's like, I don't care. You own Bloodborne, so I don't. It's just an icon. Now, if you actually have the physical case and have like a guy with a sword beating a dragon, man, I'm gonna love that. So those are 3 reasons why I love physical games, but I seriously want to push for a physical, still a physical disc-based future, because I hate that these companies are trying to push for digital only. That means they can control everything. So let's say, I'm trying to think of, like, let's say they release a new Fallout game, right? And it releases in 2024. That means if we have digital only consoles and there's nothing left, what's the point of getting any sort of game if it's only going to be a digital game? I mean, they're going to control the prices, so it's going to be like, what, $60 at launch, $70? In 2026, who knows? It could still be $60 because it's not available anywhere physically, and you can only buy it digitally. And it's kind of sucks because you have to buy it full price and there's nothing of it. And so that's what I'm trying to say here, is that I'm kind of sad because if we go to a digital only future, we're going to give up our freedoms in terms of how we play video games. And it varies and it matters across all media. Let's say for movies, let's say you wanted to watch the new Avengers movie. And the thing is, if we push towards no discs and we push towards just buying it digitally, what freedom do I have of owning it? Because the thing is, they can strip it and they could say, you don't have access. And so There's lots of reasons why I think physical is better. Yeah, there are some downsides, like you have to get up from the couch once in a while. It takes up space. There's lots of reasons you can go against it, but in terms of, especially preservation is the most important part. And the thing is, with preservation, you know that you're going to own this video game as long as you have it. And that's the beauty of it. Um, yeah, if they take away Cyberpunk 2077, for example, off all storefronts, you could still play the disc. Yeah, it might be a little buggy, but who cares? You still own the game and you could play it and still say, hey, I'm playing this game. What about you guys? Are you playing this game? So it's this has been on my mind that physical media is very important in the future because we need to support these developers, we need to support the gamers, and we just need to support the industry altogether to push against these guys and say, no, I don't. We shouldn't have digital only games. It's not fair. And so that's kind of like my rant about physical versus digital media and the preservation. And I've done many videos like this on this before, but it's just been on my mind, and I have to talk about this because we need to have the freedom to actually truly own our games, to experience it, to share it, and just to have the freedom overall just to enjoy the hobby. So if you guys would agree with me, disagree with me, I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you have a great day and the rest of the week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.